Hey gardeners, it's March 23rd. This is just going to be a quick video. Just some random things going on in the yard. So one thing I did today that I would recommend everyone do prior to us really warming up is check your irrigation system. So for all my plants I have these Vortex fan head drippers. They're adjustable. You just want to make sure that they're running correctly. I had to replace quite a few heads because, you know, the hard water here can be obstructed by calcium buildup. It's also good to kind of purge the line just to make sure there's no trees that are having an issue with getting water. I've gone ahead and done my pruning. Here's the red Malaysian Guava that got pretty badly damaged by the frost this year. You can see I've pruned back all of the smaller limbs off of it as they did die from the freeze. But these larger limbs I left. Those are viable, and the guava will be starting to push leaves probably in the next week to two. They're kind of the later one to start. I thought this was cool. This is my newer plant, a Shangri-La Mulberry. You can see how small it is, and it's already starting to produce some mulberries. So this is an earlier variety. Here's another new plant I just put in. This is the spicy Nectar Plum. A subscriber recommended it, and I've heard really good things about this variety. So I got this from groworganic.com. It's mail order placed in California. Really pleased with the plant. I only paid 20 bucks for this. And it's a nice size caliber trunk. And it's flowering for me. So this should be a nice addition. If you have fruit trees and they flowered as crazy as mine this year, you're going to want to thin the fruit. As you can see on this golden kissed apricot, I did a video on this tree a few weeks back when it was flowering pretty profusely. You can see all of the fruit set on this. It's a good idea to just go through and, you know, you can just kind of roll your hand over this to get the smaller ones, and then try to just thin these, because if you have too many fruit on one branch, it could break the limb, and it also just puts too much stress on the tree. So it's a good idea to just come through and thin your fruit. So I go every few inches, you know, picking the best looking one, just so it's not carrying so much of a load. Another thing going on right now is citrus being in bloom. This is my Meyer Lemon, and it's covered in blooms right now, and it's also covered in bees. To support fruit set, it's really important that you give this ample water right now so that the bud doesn't dry out. And also, if you haven't fed your plants, now is a really good time to do it. This EB Stone fruit fertilizer, it's an organic fertilizer. I use that throughout the year. I try to feed every 4 to 6 weeks during the growing season. I did about 40 different varieties of fig grafts this year, so I grafted on something like 80, so 2 of each variety, and some of them have sprouted, so your fig tree should start to wake up. At this point, usually late March, you start to see some buds pop. So this is my Texas Everbearing. I have a ton of grafts on here. And they don't all wake up at the same time. So I noticed like the Smith here, both of its grafts woke up. This is a Coral Black. This one here is a JH Adriatic. So it's nice to see the fig starting to green up again. I'll be doing a full tour of the fig trees in April, along with the yard in general. Just another update. I did a grafting video recently on this mulberry tree. This is my dwarf everbearing. You can see it's really flushed out with growth. And it's got little mulberries all over it. Started. This is an earlier variety. This is the sweet lavender that I did the cleft graft on video. You can see both stalks took actually. Mulberry is a fairly easy type of fruit tree to graft, in my opinion. I also did one in the same day up here. This is the Black Beauty mulberry, and you can see both of those took as well. And finally I did a rind bark down at the bottom there, and that's Silk Hope. So, you know, with a little bit of effort, I've taken this single type of mulberry and I added 3 new varieties onto it. Near my one of my pink guava trees, and I just want to show you something. So I like to put this straw down every spring. I want you to see this soil life in here. You know, I started with clay soil, just like most of you guys. Now I've got rich, dark soil. Lots of worm castings just made for me. These worms in here. See some more worms in there. So one thing I'd suggest, if you haven't done it, don't plant your fruit trees in rocks. Scrape that away and start building your soil. You can get composted mulch. That's what I started with because it takes a while for hardwood mulch to break down. It can take years. So it's not a bad idea to get some already partially broken down mulch, lay that down, and then just start building the layers up. And with time, you'll get this.